Hopefully, hopefully everyone can see everything. I wasn't able to like check everything before I went live. Hopefully everyone can see everything. Gotta turn off my iPad, sorry. Okay. So we're ready to go. Okay, so I'm doing, I believe, version 1. And I've already prepped a couple things because I'm doing things a little bit differently. I prepped my zipper panel pieces. I already sewed 1/2 of my exterior just so it wasn't repetitive and that I could just get straight to certain parts of the pattern. So zipper pulls, I already did one of my zipper ends. It's the alternative zipper, fabric zipper end, which is free on my website. So it's in case you don't have like metal ones, or sometimes like this is going to be on the inside of the pouch, so I just made one, but look at how cute that is. And then later on I'll put a rivet through it through the zipper. So let me look to see if I can actually see comments. Oh, perfect. So can everybody hear me okay? And it looks like my camera could tilt a little bit. I'm wearing PJ pants. You can probably see them in the video. I'm sorry. I didn't dress up for this. Perfect. And I added a few of the other awesome YouTube creators. Ashley, I believe, Kathy, and Brittany as moderators. They don't have to moderate everything. It was just in case I don't see something, maybe they can answer a question. But okay, so let's get to it. I have a glue stick, and I'm going to use that for my other zipper end. And I need, oh, I don't know where it went. Okay, well, I have a ruler somewhere. I don't know where my ruler went. Well, let's just sew. I'll figure it out as we go, right? Okay, so first thing is first, we're gonna sew on the contrast pieces. And I cut my exterior all in one piece, and it's because I'm gonna do the alternative way. It's not in the pattern like this, but I've seen it in other people's bags, and actually I've seen it on the interwebs forever. So I thought I would try it on this since it works wherever there is a boxed bottom. So if you want, I'll touch on that in a little bit. How about that? Okay, so let me move all of my stuff that I'm not using right now out of the way. Okay, and we are going to clip these little contrast pieces on. I am a little nervous. I know it's really weird. I'm not even standing in front of people, but I know that people are watching and, well, you know, watching my hands at least and listening to me. So it gives me a little bit of stage fright. But I'm working through it. Okay, so I changed my bobbin, I changed my needle. I've already sewn some, so I'm gonna sew these really quick. Oh, I changed my bobbin, but I didn't pull the bobbin thread up. So here we go. This has been such a fun day, and I'm so thankful and grateful for other bag makers and designers to support each other. It's just truly an awesome community. Okay. Okay. Got one done. And I'll sew the other one, and then I like to trim it before I flip it down so that it's not as bulky. And it's not in the pattern. When I wrote this pattern, it was I can't say it was very early in my pattern designing, but it was a couple years back. I mean, it's been a couple years. I have over 30 patterns now, so I've found things that work better. Like even doing my zipper panels, I'm gonna do them the way they are in the pattern, but I do things a little bit differently now. Yep, grab the pattern. It is $5. I believe I have it set until June 5th. But honestly, it's not like a timer thing. It's more of, hey, I just need to go in and change the price because there's no code. But there is a code for the rest of the patterns. It's at the top of my website, but it's also, it's in honor. So it was for Memorial Day. But it should be at the banner at the top of my website if you are worried about spelling or didn't hear me correctly. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am trimming, and I think I did it the wrong way again. I think I did it the wrong way. I'm just going to continue because I've already cut part of it. But, nope, I did it right. So because I'm flipping it like this, I trimmed the piece that would be caught in the center of this. So it reduces a little bit of bulk. Okay, so let me top stitch this. And I know I say top stitch at 1/8, but actually I'm doing it the width of my my presser foot just for this one. I don't know, it looks really nice and just a different look. Of course, there's a lot of things in my patterns that can be changed, and I'm sure we've all seen it today, that there are different ways to do things. So my way is not the right way, but I do have to say that it's nice when somebody at least tries one of my techniques on something and they say, hey, this is really cool. So if you're unsure or you don't have a tried and true method for something, like maybe possibly give me a chance. And go and check out my other patterns. And actually check out the other designers that are helping today. Like, wow, I don't even know. I know Kim has patterns. Kathy has patterns. I believe Leslie, yeah, I think she has a pattern. And I want to say Brittany might have a pattern. But I'll be honest, I actually don't know, because sometimes I kind of get stuck in my own little world, and maybe I need to venture out and check out some other patterns. So maybe in the future I will be doing someone else's videos, because it is fun. Okay, so I have the accents sewn on, top stitch. Now we're going to do the top band. Yes, I knew she had something. I just didn't know what it was. I knew she had one. I was like, I don't know if it's a bag, but it is a practical use item. I mean, a steering wheel cover. I'll be honest, I used the crap out of those in Hawaii because it was just really hot in the summer sun, and it was just always hot there. It's beautiful, but it's very tropical and very warm. Okay, so now I'm going to top stitch this, or I mean stitch it on and then top stitch it. Sorry. Brain no worky. And I like to, I don't start on the edge. I always start in and then back up. Like I do one stitch and then I usually reverse and then go forward. It's just so that I don't like get like a weird, you know, where you get that huge nest of thread. It even happens on industrials. And I'll be honest, I'm not always the best at holding my stitches. I get kind of lazy. Okay, so confession. When I did this other one, I trimmed the seam, but look, I trimmed the wrong seam. So just make sure you trim the right one. So the seam allowance is going to go towards the top band. So I want to trim the top band. The other one, it's still laying flat, but I did not enclose the seam allowance. But I mean, no one would ever know. It's laying flat, and that's all that's all that matters. And it's less bulky. So if anyone's confused about the zipper panels, okay, so the alternative zipper panels are the ones that are going to be like tucked in, whereas the other zipper panel is the one that I believe Brittany might have called it perky earlier. So that is the difference. And if anything is confusing, by all means, feel free to either send me an email, reach out through my Facebook group. I would say hit me up through my DMs, but sometimes those get, I can't say abused, but you know, I need like a little bit of downtime with my family, and I feel compelled to answer those. So basically just send me an email, because I do check my email like multiple times per day. But whereas if you sent me a DM, sometimes it would go to the request folder and I might not see it for a couple days because I don't look at those every day. Gotta make sure that's top stitching. Oh, I went the wrong way. I'm glad I'm not driving, because I would have hit something. I was too busy talking. Okay, and so doing it like this, I enclosed that seam allowance. See, it's nice and pretty, unlike my other one. Okay, so here's the exterior. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself because we still have to do the recessed zipper panels, but yeah, this is what it's going to look like. So this is all one piece, and this is non-directional. So if you had directional, what you could do is cut the two pieces and sew them together at the bottom, but don't cut out the box corner cutouts. Just make it one whole piece. So you could just add your seam allowance, sew those two pieces together, and then essentially have it like this. And I have it pre-done so that I could get through this quicker, so that I don't go over my hour. Yeah, The fabric is my fabric, actually. I have not released that. And then I call this one the blobby. It's blobby camo, and then I put like flower overlays. And it was inspired by a pair of flip-flops that I have that kind of have, instead of flowers like this, it has like maybe roses. And it's just like line drawing. So this was similar, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So, you know, I like it. Maybe in the future I will put those out if anybody seems interested in that. Okay, so we need to do the zipper. Okay, so first I'm going to work on the zipper and the alternative zipper end. Add the poles and then we'll do the zipper panels after I prep the zipper. Okay. So first we're going to do the zipper poles. I already lightly melted the ends of my zipper so that it makes it easier to put the poles on. And I just pull it apart probably, what, about an inch maybe? And here. I know some people sometimes have a hard time putting zippers on. So what I do is I just make sure both sides are on, and then I like wiggle it around, pull it back off a little bit if I need to. And see, like what I do is I pinch this part of the zipper, and then I push the zipper pull on, and then it usually goes on and there's no bubble. So there's that. So I'm going to do this, and mine is longer than the zipper panels, and it's going to tuck into the bag so that I can open it really wide. And it's going to have a alternative zipper end on both sides, and I made it a double zipper pull, a double pull zipper. Say that 3 times real fast. Okay, so here I go. Put that on. Back it off a little bit. And oh, and this zipper tape is from Zipper Valley. And actually these are her pulls too, Zipper Valley pulls. Okay, so I'm going to pull these to the center. And I thought I had little flower ones, but I don't. Okay, so you could use double-sided tape, but I really like glue sticks sometimes for certain things. And actually I did find my ruler. Okay, so this is free, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I think this is 2 by 3 inches, 2 inches wide by 3 inches tall. And then I measured in 1 inch from both short ends. And then in between those, I did down the center just the 1 inch. So just like that. And then what I'm gonna do is, so I think I got it on my right side, but that's okay. It's not gonna be seen. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this to that line. And instead of pressing, I just press it to the back of my ruler, and it makes it nice and flat. Spreads out all that glue. Okay. And I try to keep both sides in and make sure that they actually have glue or double-sided tape on them so that they don't poke out later on, because you're going to be folding this to the center and you want that to adhere really well. So I do the high parts first where they're folded, and then I do the center. And then you fold this to the center. And see my one is popping out a little bit. It could be because these glue sticks are kind of old. I have a huge box from Amazon. They're actually the Amazon Basics. So much cheaper than the Elmer's ones. And see, I have a little bit of a blowout. What I do is I just kind of do that and then put the excess there. And then clean that off a little bit so that when I put my cap on, it's not all goopy. There we go. Fold this to the center. And now we're looking at the inside of the alternative zipper end. It's nice and cute and tiny. So I'm just going to make sure these are nice and even. And I'm going to clip it right there. Actually, I should clip it here where I'm not going to sew. That actually makes more sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just sew like almost a box, but not the top part. And then it'll end up looking like this. So I'm going to do that really quick. And that's on my website. And it is free. It's under freebies, and I think it's under miscellaneous, possibly. Okay. And I probably need my stiletto for this. Because I don't want it shifting on me. Okay, and there we go. And you pivot when your needle is on its way back up. So you don't get those weird slanty stitches in between. And you wonder, like, what happened? It's because your needle has to be coming back. It has to release from the hook at the bottom. I believe it's called the bobbin hook, possibly. Okay. And then this, I did backstitch, so all I have to do is I just usually just pull this the stitch back to the back. I don't tie it. It's backstitched. So I'm just gonna pull it and then I'll trim it really close and zap it with my thread zapper. Actually, I don't even know if I need to do that. Okay. All right. And then what we'll do, and actually I don't want my rivets out, my rivet press is out in the hallway on a bench. So I'm not going to rivet these, but I'm going to show you. You just fold the zipper like you would normally for a metal zipper end, and just shove it in there. So I'll prep it, and then I will off camera I will rivet them. Okay, so it's not wanting to go in. That's because it's getting caught up on this. So okay, there we go. Okay, I got it out of the way. Did not want to do that. So I'm going to at least put a clip on it so they don't come off. And then Okay, we'll do that later. And then later on I could, you know, fluff out the zipper a little bit. There you go. So that's that. Now we are going to work on the zipper panels. Okay, I'm using fabric. It's actually the linen cotton canvas from Spoonflower. It has been pre-washed, and I starched it heavily, so it has body to it. And we're just basically going to put the zipper, nope, it needs to be right sides together, and I need to make it even. And actually this is about the same length, so all I have to do, I can just eyeball it. I don't even need to find the middle of my zipper. And I'm only going to be stitching between the two pins. And the reason being is those pins, the fabric will be folded back, and it can be trimmed if you want later on, like before you sew it all down. I don't feel like it's necessary. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 1/4 of an inch or an inch. It's still fabric, and it doesn't make it any more bulky than it would if it was shorter. And I think for time, I'm going to just put this on there and clip them together. So I'm just making sure that these line up, and I will clip everything together. I know I'm not sewing there, but at least I can use that, pin it. And I don't ever sew my zippers to zipper panels with 3/8. Personally, I like it with a little bit more zipper showing, and it's easier to sew if it's a little bit less of a seam allowance, if that makes sense. So I usually do 1/4 of an inch. Okay. And I know that I actually read a comment from someone, they said that this was too fiddly for them. And that's totally, it's a valid point. But I feel like if you were making a high-end bag, not just a pouch, but a high-end bag, you would want your zipper panels to be, you know, nice and even. So it may not matter on a pouch, but there's nothing wrong with this technique. And taking this technique and using it as a skill building. So that's the way I see it. Okay, so I'm not using any double-sided tape here. I'm just using clips, and I'm going to sew between the two pins. And maybe I will pull the pulls out of the way till I get to the second pin, just so it doesn't create that little bubble in the center. All right. And I'm actually starting right where the pin is, and I'm actually going to take them out so they don't bend. And if you were using vinyl, you could just clip it where that mark is, you know, like make a little notch into the zipper panel, make a mark. I mean, I didn't even need the pens really. I could have marked it. Okay, so I think I'm actually on a top stitch length, but whatever. It's still sewing it on. Okay, my needle is down, so I'm going to move my poles to the other end. There we go. And then just make sure that this is all nice and straight. Okay. Okay. I love using a stiletto because it lets me get where my finger should not be. So, all right, and now I'm going to back stitch because I made it to those pins. And I can take this off. We can fold those back just so they're out of the way, and then we'll mess with it in a few minutes. So I'm gonna do this for right now. Actually, I'm just gonna pull these aside really quick just so I can do the other side. So I didn't use any woven interfacing on either of my zipper panels. And it's because it's going to be tucked down, and I didn't want it to be an issue with being bulky. So I just did it that way. Okay, so now, same, we are going to put this on there, and I'm just going to make sure that at least they start out at the same spot where they started before, if that makes sense. So where this line is, I just want it to be, because sometimes once it's already sewn, there's like a little bit of like a little bit of stretch to your fabric, but you can kind of like putting on a gusset, you can kind of ease it back in. And that's what I do. I just, you know, if there's any excess of anything, I just kind of spread it out, and then it's not noticeable. You know, sometimes the wavy zipper happens, and whoa, that is horrible. You're like, what did I do? And it's weird. I used to get that, and now I don't. So I don't know if it's just maybe in the beginning, sometimes we pull, you know, instead of letting the sewing machine do its thing. Okay, so that. So tomorrow is the Sew Whatever sewing soiree with Lauren of Sew Whatever. And I am finally going to meet her in person. I believe Brittany Nicole is going, of the Emporium. She's going to be there. I don't have any projects I'm in the middle of doing, so I don't know what I'm going to take with me tomorrow. I might just be the weirdo just standing around helping other people. I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm definitely going to take my laptop and maybe work on, I actually have a new design I want to work on. So maybe I'll work on that and help other people if they want to sew and just chit chat. Okay, so now I'm going to sew between the two pins, and then we can top stitch and fold the ends back. And oh, it's 5:35. I need to hurry. See, I got to chatting. Okay, so I'm going to put my needle in. take my pens out. And oh, that one I went a little too far. So that's all right, because I'll show you how to fix that. I am going to move my poles. All right. Everybody's so quiet. I don't see any comments. I was looking to see if there were any comments. I think it's set to top, so I hate seeing top comments. I like seeing like what is actually there. I'm manipulating where my needle is going. There we go. All right, put those away. Okay, so now is when we can fold these little bits back and get this top stitch and put it on and finish the bag. Okay, so because I went a little bit over on this one, that means it's a little bit longer on this side. So I'm going to show you how we can fix that. So these are folded where they're even. So I'm going to go like that for now. And then I'm going to comb over here and I'm just going to make these even with this other one. And because it was slightly over that line, I know this needs to be slightly over that too. And I don't need to stitch it, I just need to fold it to meet the same there. So there's that. All right, so this end is done. Then I can pull this away. And go like that. And to make this easier on myself, I'm going to clip it on this side so it doesn't unfold where I want it to. I could glue it or put tape, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna slowly back this out and fold it. And if there's any threads, see I have a couple threads in there. Look, I'm gonna put those in there with my stiletto. Tuck those bad boys in there. Trim them off. Whatever. But see, I tucked it in there. It's good. Okay. I can take all these little clippies off, and now I can do it on the other end. My pinks don't match. It kind of bothers me, but it is what it is. This one's a little bit more purple, and this one's more red. I'm going to clip that there. Clip this here. Well, thank you, Jamie. Thank you for supporting my business. You have all the patterns now. That's awesome. That's amazing, actually. I thought I was the only one that had them all. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna flip this. You know, this might be easier if I took that one off. It's in the way. You're in the way, Cliffy. Oh, well, this one. Okay, so this one, I need to fix this one again. Because I kind of tucked it down. No. See, I mean, it is a little fiddly. Like I said, she had a valid point. But I have a valid point too. If you're making bespoke bags and you want to earn $200 for a bag, it should look like $200. So it's not doing what I wanted to do. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to tuck these. I almost said a swear word. I'm sorry. I mean, in my defense, I used to be a sailor. I was a Marine. Technically, I'm still a Marine because once a Marine, always a Marine. And swearing is just part of that culture. Okay. All right. I can finally top stitch. Yay. I know. This took forever. See why I prepped a lot of things? Okay, so now all I have to do is top stitch these. Okay. And then when I'm sewing along here, I just like to make sure that this is fully pulled where the zipper, you know, is nice and taut between the two sides. And there's nothing excess. And when top stitching, always look at your seam allowance and not your needle. Okay. And I am going to make sure that that lands right where I want it to. And pivot. Like Ross says, pivot. Okay, I don't know why I backstitched there. My brain is not working right now. Okay. Okay, let me do the other side. And then we can attach it to the bag and finish sewing up the bag. If I don't get to the lining, I'm sure it's not going to be the end of the world because, I mean, how many linings do we need to see sewn up today? So I will definitely make sure that I do the exterior. And I can continue with my video too. I just won't be able to watch the next one live. Oh, I turned too early. It's going to be in the seam allowance, but I didn't want to turn it that early. So I just did a slanted stitch and carried on. Okay, so I can explain that really quick. So the pattern piece, instead of cutting the box bottom, I cut it straight, or I drew a straight line on my piece, and then I just flipped it over and then mirrored my piece. And I'm going to show you, I'll show you it flat. So here's what my piece looks like. Normally, okay, so I made it taller, and I did make it wider. I'm using the box bottom version, so I added, I believe, 1.5 inches to my width, and the height, I don't know, because it was 5 inches before, and I took off, I believe I took off 1.5 inches. But regardless, this seam right here is the bottom of where my piece would be. So, and I didn't cut out any box corners. What I did is I drew my box corners. So this center line would be the bottom of the pattern piece. And then technically here's where the box corner would be. And I believe I did it at 1.5 inches also. I wanted it a little bit wider. So I did 1.5 inches. So I drew up 1.5 inches from my bottom of my panel. So see, there's 1.5 inches. It probably stretched a little bit due to, oh no, that's 1.5 inches. And then I drew a line on both 1.5 inches from the bottom of the piece, and just folded it on those lines. And then when I sew it, I'm going to be sewing it like this, and then when you turn it out, it's going to have that triangle on the side. So I'm going to sew this on here first, and then I can finish with the lining after my live is finished, if I don't finish in time, because I have 12 minutes left, and I don't know if I'm going to be done. And the cool thing is I did both sides the same, so I don't have to worry, and my zipper has zipper ends on both. And honestly, this should be a little bit longer, so don't be like me and cut it like 13 inches. I should have cut it a little bit longer. I don't know what I was thinking. But it'll tuck into my pattern, but it's going to barely tuck in there. So, but that's all right. It happens. So what I'm going to do is I want this right sides together with my exterior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and actually these might even be a little bit long too. So I might have to sew my sides a little bit smaller of a seam allowance. So basically I am sewing this. I'm going to sew it to both sides of my exterior, or baste it, I should say. And then I'm going to put my lining, I got to put my lining together. And, okay. Nope, I want to baste it. Baste, 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 baste. Nope, I want to sew it. Am I doing it right? I have to think. Sorry, brain is having a little, the synapses are going, what? What are we doing here? Okay, I'm going to do an 8 or a 1/4 of an inch. And you know what? If I need to do more, I can come back and do that when I add the exterior. I think I'm doing it right. I don't know. I think I'm trying to rush now and the brain's not working right. Okay. Let's see if I can finish this bag. Who thinks we can? Who thinks I can finish? Okay, so I'm going to try my hardest. I think I got 10 minutes. And you know what? Do I sew the bottom? Yes, I'm going to sew this right now. Then I'm going to do the lining, add the lining, and then go from there. Okay, so I'm pinning these up where I marked them, which is 1.5 inches. And if you want, I can, afterwards, I can do basically a quick and dirty kind of cheat sheet for this, a little hack. So I need to open this. Oh yeah, so I can get this together. It's not wanting to work. See, this is why it needs to be a little bit longer. So I can tuck this in. But that's all right. So I'm sewing this together. I'm going to do the lining after the fact. Matching up my side edges because I definitely want those to match up. Okay. So match those up. And it's not wanting. Okay, there we go. Tuck this in. This is going to be fun. I might need my skinny foot for this one. Okay, got my skinny foot on. I am going to sew with a small seam allowance because I made my zipper too long. And I'm going to shorten my stitch length. There we go. I want this flat. Okay, it's getting down to the wire. Okay, here we go. Getting over that little humpy. Oh, we made it up to the top. Oh. Okay. One side done, then I can pop it out so you guys can see what it looks like. Sorry, stuff is falling. I want to sew from the bottom. That worked really well. Okay. Time check. Ooh, I got 4 minutes. I'm not gonna finish. Not before my time is up. But I will finish if anybody wants to stay here. Otherwise, I don't blame you if you go and watch Kim, because hers does look really awesome. So, and you can come back and watch the rest of mine and see how it all turns out. Okay. I need my little zipper out of the way. Okay. Okay. Hopefully I can turn this out and we can see that before y'all head over to the next video in the playlist. There we go. Okay, so here is the exterior. Now I just got to finish sewing the lining. And I did not put any Decaville or anything. I just put woven interfacing on this. I don't know what I'm going to put in this one, but it's just for here at home. And I will have to go and iron all these creases out, but it just made it easier. But look at that. It's so beautiful. And that's instead of doing a box bottom, but it's very similar. You just fold it up. And then the box bottom will go into, the lining will be box bottom. So let me, I'm not doing any pockets on this. This is just a straight pouch, simple, quick. I can sew both these sides up and then hurry up and put the two together and then do the top stitch. So I'm going to say thank you for watching already because I think I have less than a minute left. Go on and watch Kim's video and then feel free to come back to my video and watch the end of it and hit that like and subscribe button, please. It doesn't look like anybody's done that, but please, please, please. I would appreciate it. So because I decreased my seam allowance on my exterior, I have to do the same to my lining, at least at the top. And then I'm just going to angle it down. And I could do the lining the same way, but it doesn't make sense because it's not going to be seen like that. So I'm going to okay. I do need to keep the bottom open. So I'm gonna just sew in a little bit on each side, and then because I have to have a turning hole. And I like to make a 90. It just makes it easier to sew up that bottom hole and fold it where you need to do your stitching. Okay. Boom. Boom. All right. So since my lining is already like that, I'm just going to shove this in here. You just want it right sides together. So however you like to do your bags and stuff like that, you just need to make sure that they're right sides together. You can put the lining inside the exterior or vice versa. You just need to make sure that they are right sides together. Yeah, this is right. So I'm gonna clip the sides. I gotta make sure that my zipper is fully out of the way. And then I'm spreading open my seams, or you can nest them. Either way works. I'm spreading them open. I like to have a little bit more meat there, but it is what it is. Okay, so then now I just need to make sure that everything is clipped together. I will say that having the exterior and the lining means that all you have to do is pull the lining out and then pull the exterior through without manipulating it as much. So if you had a bag that had a lot of interfacing on it, if you put the lining within, or the exterior within the lining, and then went through the lining to pull that out, you would manipulate the exterior a lot less than the other way around. Isn't it such a great idea? I want to say, I don't know who started it, but I think Kim started it. Kim Castaneda. And then from there I went to Kathy K. Dill. And then it was me. And honestly, Beth reached out to me, Beth Ruiz of So Country, and asked me if I wanted to do it, because I had mentioned it was so fun. And this was super fun. I enjoyed it, and I got to know new bag makers, and I feel like there's like more community between us. Like, you know, now I feel like I know them better, and I'm looking forward to meeting all of them in future like social events and stuff like that. So it's really been a fun experience. I might have this on a top stitch length. I do not. And I'm just sewing it with my seam allowance in the pattern. I do want to mention that the Beachcomber pouch is not the same as the Beachcomber clutch. The clutch is just truly like a a date night kind of little handbag, and it doesn't have the gusset, so if you bought it in error, I'm really sorry. I feel like it's clear on my website what pattern we were doing today, but I apologize if it's not completely clear. But I did redraft this pattern, or, you know, I think the clutch, they're not all the same pattern, and just redone. I made sure the top band looked good and didn't look out of proportion. So I work really hard on my patterns. I'm glad there's some stragglers still here. I'm almost done, I promise. I think I just, nope, I didn't. I'm almost done. And I think my husband and them will be home soon. My husband and my son will be home, and I was trying to get done before they got home, because sometimes they're loud. So, okay. I don't know where my stitches. Okay, so let's pull this out. Do the final top stitch, close the bottom, and yeah. Okay. Okay, so I want to do that. Make sure that all of this is pulled, just so I can get the seams all nice. And actually, and I will be turning this the other way so I can top stitch it from my flatbed, because I like to so I am going to be going like this. Okay. Oh yeah, and I gotta box the bottoms. I can do that before I close it up. Okay, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna just top stitch right here. And I'm just gonna make sure that it's nice and the exterior is nice and pulled away from my lining. And then my zipper is out of the way. So I'm gonna sew that up. Just make sure my seams are butterflied open, at least where they're joining. Okay. My husband and them are home. Alright. I think I'm going to sew this with a normal top stitch seam allowance, just so that I can get that seam allowance smushed down. Okay, top stitch length. almost done. If you're concerned with thickness, just try it out of fabric first, and then you can come back and make another one out of vinyl if you want. Okay, I just went over the second side seam, and I'm coming back up to my beginning stitches. And I am going to backstitch on this. Normally, if it was for someone else, I would not. I would pull my stitches through, but it is for me. Okay, and I made it back to the beginning. Okay. Okay, all of my stitches are to this inside. So now I will trim them. There we go. Now I need to box the corners. So I'm going to do that really quick through the lining, the hole in the lining, and I'm just going to nest my seams. So I should have done this before. It would have been easier. But it's not completely undoable. Okay, so I just flipped one to one side, and I'll do, I have to flip them the same way, if that makes sense. So I need the lining to go the same way. There we go. Okay. One more. Hi, Beth. Now I can sew up the hole. Okay. turned out so good. Hi, Dalva. Okay, so, and then, technically, these go, they're not as long as I needed them to be longer. They're supposed to be longer so that they tuck down in there. So if you're gonna modify, do a practice one first so that you understand it, because honestly, I should have modified after I made one, and I didn't. I didn't make one first because it's very tight. There we go. I got it. I got it. I got it. Yay. Okay. So I should not have top stitched that until now. Good. And I pulled off my little thingy. I pulled off my zipper end. I'm trying to hurry and I should stop hurrying. Definitely needs a good press. Thank you. Thank you, Beth. Okay. So, yeah, I should have top stitched after to keep this down. I guess I could go back and top stitch a second time. Or I could just make it pop up and have the zipper tabs sticking out and call it a day. I think I might just do that. After I just sat here and... But I wanted to see what it looked like before I did that. So, I think I'm just going to pop these out and leave it like this. But my zipper panels were too long and my zipper was too short. So I'm just going to leave it like this. And it'll just open up wide and I'll close up the hole and press it and it'll be good to go. It looks like it's got ears. See, it's got little ears. Shrek has those, you know, those weird little ears. That's what it kind of reminds me of, a Shrek. Maybe I will tuck those back in there and just... Maybe I'll top stitch it again. I don't know. What does everybody think? Yeah, I do too. Actually, I was going to put medicines in it, like my vitamins. So maybe I'll just leave it this way because it is easier to just leave it and struggle with it. But my zipper panels needed to be just a smidge just shorter. It's because I modified it and I must not have been thinking right. So I'm just going to close up the hole and leave it the way it is. So are you guys watching two videos at the same time? Just finger pressing this so I can put the two pieces together. I actually have another headache. I can feel it. It's like sinus pressure in my face. So I'm gonna have to take medicine before it turns into a migraine. Because if I don't catch it, then I will be miserable. And I want to meet Lauren tomorrow, so I have to feel better tomorrow. Like, I can't get sick. Okay, so when I close the turning hole, I like to have a very small stitch. So. Okay. Right there. Okay. And I think I'm done. Thank you all for watching. I'm gonna go take some medicine and go give my husband a kiss and watch the rest of Kim's video. And then Leslie is on. And I'll get pictures of this one taken out and post it in my group. And I'll do some quick and dirty directions on how I did the bag base on the exterior. But there's my bag. Oh, I lost one of my thingies. Have a good night, everyone. I don't know how to end this live. I don't know how to end this live.